This call is being recorded.
Hi, y'all. This is Sarge, and I want to welcome you to this week's call. Personal development is very, very big on our list, and we hope it's big on your list. Not from the standpoint of what everybody else is doing. It may be something that you just need to think about. It may be something that you need to change, but nevertheless, it's something that is definitely important to your personal development as a human being, as a man or a woman, as a husband and a wife, whatever it may be, it is to build you up. Okay? So I want to base my intro off of an affirmation that I did yesterday, and I had it on the board, and it was doing the unrealistic is a lot easier than doing the realistic. Let me tell you, a lot of times when we do things, we choose the easy way. You know, I remember a cartoon growing up called, it was this wolf, and he was a sailor, and he just wanted to do the easy way on everything. And eventually, by the end of the story, he ended up dying because the easy way wasn't the best way. It took his life. Now, I know that seemed like a sad cartoon, but nevertheless, the moral of the story is that the easy way is not the best way. So the unrealistic is where our life is. That's where our joy is. That's where our happiness is. That's where our excitement is. Because so much of the time, even from a youth, we have been ingrained to think realistic. Now, I want to tell you, my son wants to be a pro basketball player. But when I was growing up, if I told my mom, I want to be a pro basketball player, she said, well, you might want to think realistic, go to college. What do you want to study in college and get a degree in, and, so that you can have a backup? Because that's what we consider realistic. But being realistic creates a life of mediocrity. That means that our whole life is all about mediocrity, just being okay, instead of looking beyond being okay and being great. Because we all are great. We all have the ability to do things that will change the world. And I promise you that if you begin to go into that space of unrealistic, then you will begin to change your life and change the people's lives around you in ways that you could not even imagine. Go back to when you was a youth and remember, some of us wanted to be actors, and some of us wanted to be policemen and firemen and things that, everybody around us in our community and our environment was telling us, just be realistic. You can't really do that because you live in this place, which is off the beaten path. Okay? So, therefore, we need to go back to that because most of us in living our mediocrity life, we got jobs that we don't like. We have situations and circumstances in our life that we don't like. And it's not that we didn't want those things when we first started. It is that they have gotten boring. Why? Because we decided that is our realistic thoughts creating everything. Now, here's my story, because I always like to give my story because that's the only story I know. Okay? And the thing of it is that I remember when I was 17 years old and my mom asked me that question, what do you want to be? And I said, I want to be an actor comedian, because at that time, Eddie Murphy was at his height. I mean, one of the best comedians out there during my youth. And so she told me, you know what, be realistic, because, what if that doesn't work out? It's a lot of actors, who don't make it. That's a very hard industry. So you need something to fall back on. Join the Army or go to the military. And so I decided to join the Army because all I knew was I need to get away from that. Now, I didn't know why, but I knew I needed to get away from that. And the thing of it is by getting away from that, I got to see the world. And the world was so exciting. But then I decided that I was grown and I knew what I was going to do and all of this. And so to be realistic, I decided I wanted to get married. And that happened at 18 years old. And so I got married and wanted this dream life and Bill Cosby type life. And all I found myself is getting back into realistic acts, just simply settling for mediocrity, doing what everybody else is doing, living a life that everybody else is living, instead of living my own life, which was filled with adventure at that time. So I spent that time in that marriage miserable, let alone all of the situations that we had in our relationship. But I was miserable because my life was no longer an adventure. So when I left that life, then the adventure started again. I decided that I was getting out the military and I was going to pursue that acting career that I wanted to do. And that's what I did. So I moved to the East Coast of Stamford, Connecticut, just about less than an hour from New York. And I began to pursue that dream of becoming an actor, having an opportunity to work with some great actors and a great acting coach who trained some really, really good people like Raul Julia and those type of guys. And that was exciting for me. And as I began to do it more and decided, I want to be a comedian. So 2 years of my life, I began to spend that time doing that. Now, I wasn't great, but that wasn't the point. The point of it was that I was living my life the way that I wanted to live it and on my terms, because we always are living on other people's terms. And then I met my wife, Joy. And again, at that particular time, I was still excited, and that's what drew her to me, that I was excited, and I was just doing all of the things. And when I met Joy, she had never traveled out of the state of Missouri on a plane. And so I took her on a plane, and we visited different places. And then as we began to have children, that life became, again, mediocrity. Being in that realistic state again. Okay, I got a family now. I got to make sure that they're taken care of. I got to make sure that they can eat. I got to make sure that I have a job that is secure. And as we all know, is that security in a job is a fool's thought. And so I began to be in that state, and for 10 years, I stayed in that state. And you can't even figure out what's wrong with you. What's happening in your life that is making you just go down, 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 emotionally, mentally, physically. And then, again, I joined back up in the Army, becoming an active duty soldier so that I can say, okay, well, maybe if I do this, I know that this is secure and I can depend on this check every 1st and the 15th. And end up going to Iraq, which, again, was the best time, the best couple of years of my life. Why was it? Because, again, I was on an adventure, something I never did before. Was it unsafe? Yes, it was unsafe. We need to live an unsafe life, a life that we're always shaking in our boots, because that's what our life is all about, is adventure. So when I got back from Iraq, then Joy said, you know what? I want to do it. I want to move. I want to do something different, which excited me to no end. And therefore, by that excitement, we moved to Naples. And when we moved to Naples, everything exploded. Why? Because it was a new adventure. It was a new excitement. The synonym of happiness is excitement. Excitement. Not joy, it is excitement. Because the more excited you are, the happier you are. Haven't many of you been excited about something and you're so happy and thrilled? I just was talking to, one of our clients, and I told her this story, and I said, look, what about your 1-year-old? And she told me the story about her 1-year-old who looked at a leaf and just started laughing at the leaf. At a leaf. But we don't do that anymore. We don't just look at something and get excited about it for no reason and just laugh. So and that brings me back to the story that when we moved to Naples, it was so exciting. And then after 3 years being knocked on the head and different things happening in other business and boot camps and fitness programs coming into the community, I allow myself to again get into that realistic. Be realistic. You know what? You don't do something that is kind of going to be safe and secure, and everybody is doing that, and okay, and stay complacent. And so for the last 3 years, that's where I've been. Until I just was awakened this past weekend as I spent the 4 days with the Army Reserves and decided that no longer will I seek the realistic. I will seek the unrealistic. Because the unrealistic is what is necessary to live a life that is fulfilled. Yesterday we saw an accident of someone on a moped or motorcycle. And it was really bad because they had to bring a helicopter to medevac the person to the hospital or to wherever they were going. And life is so precious. So precious. Because from moment to moment, we don't know what's going to happen. That's where the excitement, that's where the journey is. That's where the journey lies, is in that excitement, in that true, unrealistic, unknowing place that is necessary to keep our life so interesting that we can lay down for our last breath and say, you know what, this was the greatest life that I ever lived. And that today is where we need to be. That today is where we need to change the dynamic of how we think on things that we want to do. You know what? Some things are not going to work in your life. That's great. Recreate yourself. Do something new. Do something different. Be something that you wanted to be. Be something that you didn't want to be. And be okay with it. Do something crazy today. Do something exciting today. Do something that will make you say, oh my God, this was the greatest life today. Because today is the only day that we're promised. This moment is the only day that we're given. And if we don't change our mindset to achieving and doing the unrealistic things that creeps up in our lives so much of the time, because we get hints, ideas, imaginations, and dreams about every single thing that we want to do or that is necessary for our lives, but we douse it with water because that's a fire in us. But we're always putting out that fire. We're always doubting ourselves because we go back to our reality. We go back to the realistic things because of the people, places, and circumstances that we surround ourselves. So I challenge you guys today. I really, really challenge you guys today to change that dynamic, to change that for your life today. And if you need to change the people in your life, then you change the people in your life. If you can't change the people, if you love the person that you're with, then don't ask them to change. You change, and they will change along with you. It's just what happens. It is the law of attraction in its full extent. because through your excitement, through your zeal, you will motivate people all around you. And you don't know, and they don't know why they're so happy. And all you can tell them is that you're just excited about life, because that's where we need to begin and begin to change our community, because we're so excited about what we're doing and the things that we can do. Like one of the goals that Joy and I decided when I got back is that, we want to take months vacation and do crazy things. I don't care, just get an RV and just drive, or get in a car and just drive for a month with our kids and everything. Why? Because it'll be the best years of our children's life as well. Because as we all know, is that now the way that they are teaching kids is they're teaching them from the standards of mediocrity, so that they can have more mediocrity. Okay? Now, the wealth in our country, they live a phenomenal life. And it's not about because of their money. The money helps, but it's because of the lifestyle that they choose to live on boats and to travel in different countries and see different things and experience different languages and do different things when they want to do it, how they want to do it. Because we're all rich. We are truly, truly rich. Life is rich. That's where your prosperity is. Health is rich. That's where your prosperity is. And so, therefore, you have truly, truly the ability to do any amazing things that you want to do. So my challenge, again, is that you decide today to live the unrealistic life. The unrealistic life, and do the unrealistic things, and deny anything other than that. Because you are great, and you will always be great, and you will achieve great things when you begin to step out on faith, step out into that unknown, and begin to do those things that you want to do in life. Okay? So guys, I know that was a long, in fact, I kind of took over the call. With that, I would like to open it up for any questions, comments, or anything like that as we complete this call here in the next few minutes. So the lines are now open, so, just express your comments, concerns, or, kind of your thoughts.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Oh, my goodness. That was amazing. I mean, literally, hands down, that was the best speech I've ever heard you give ever. So I really would like you to make it available so people can share, because I believe that it can make someone's day. It can change their perspective. It can change their life. It can help to transform them. And I had the pleasure of listening while I was outdoors, and I'm just staring around at the grass and the trees and the sky, and I'm listening, and I felt very overwhelmed.
Because we're all rich. We are truly, truly rich. Life is rich. That's where your prosperity is. Health is rich. That's where your prosperity is. And so, therefore, you have truly, truly the ability to do any amazing things that you want to do. So my challenge, again, is that you decide today to live the unrealistic life. The unrealistic life, and do the unrealistic things, and deny anything other than that. Because you are great, and you will always be great, and you will achieve great things when you begin to step out on faith, step out into that unknown, and begin to do those things that you want to do in life. Okay? So guys, I know that was a long, in fact, I kind of took over the call. With that, I would like to open it up for any questions, comments, or anything like that as we complete this call here in the next few minutes. So the lines are now open, so, just express your comments, concerns, or, kind of your thoughts.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. That was amazing. I mean, literally, hands down, that was the best speech I've ever heard you give ever. So I really would like you to um, make it available so people can share because I believe that it can make someone's day. It can change their perspective. It can change their life. It can help to transform them. And I had the pleasure of listening while I was outdoors, and I'm just staring around at the grass and the trees and the sky, and I'm listening, and I felt very overwhelmed. Like I literally felt the cells in my body tingling with excitement, like the word you kept using, which is the focal point of your message. My cells were just tingling with excitement. I could tell that my whole body, mind, spirit, soul was in alignment with every single word you were saying, and I was holding on to every single word you were saying. And it was really special to me because, I was obviously as your wife, I was able to witness your change, your shift in state, your transformation. And I believe that when you put yourself on a path to learn and to grow, to evolve, to change, that there can be small shifts, there can be medium shifts, there can be massive shifts. And I was able to personally witness you have a really massive shift as you got back in town. I was able to see it with my own eyes, and it really is an amazing thing to see. And I want everybody to note that one of the ways that you can get a really amazing shift in your state is by leaving your regular environment, is by going to a place alone where you can rest and you can open yourself up to ideas, to hearing from the God within, and it shuts off all the regular noise that you listen to, and it shuts it off, and you can hear clearly without any confusion. And so you have this mental acuity and clarity that's like no other that is it's harder to get in your regular day-to-day operation. And so you open yourself up to experience this, and then when it happens, you literally, it's like walking into a new door. And you have your eyes, whatever you have that were over your eyes, you remove that veil and you see clearly. And as you step into it, you're ready. It's like you've been waiting for this moment your whole life to step into this new way of thinking and new way of doing. And it's available to anyone at any time. And just like Sarge was mentioning about the accident that we saw where this guy's life just changed in a moment, we can allow our lives to change in a moment for the greater, from mediocrity to amazement and excitement and joy. And maybe in that guy's case, he didn't choose that consciously. He didn't choose that moment. But what we're talking about today, you can choose that moment. It is our choice. It is actually our birthright. But we have to choose it individually. And it's never too late. It's absolutely never too late. So don't let the past define you, but let this moment change you. Let this information turn into revelation and then into transformation. That's all I have. Anybody else? Anybody else have a question or comment?
I just should say thank you, Sarge. That really was really, really powerful. And it right away, because of how much emotion and how true it was for you, then I could really kind of clearly see how to get there. Things that I have let become unexciting that I don't have to go that way. It was really, really powerful. So I'll just say thank you.
Absolutely. Well, guys, this was an awesome call. As always, on these Tuesdays, they're really, really good. They're food for the soul because, again, we are all our brother's keepers. And that means that, interchanging, the the dynamics of the gender, but we are our brother's keepers, and we are responsible for one another, but we're not responsible for each other's greatness. Okay, we're only responsible for our own greatness. And if we begin to pursue that path of greatness in ourselves, then it will now inspire and build up and help the greatness that is in others. So make this day your greatest day because it's your only day. And I thank you guys for being on the call. And I shall talk to you guys next week, next Tuesday, same time, same place. And have a fantastic day and rest of the week. All right? R3 for life. Bye-bye.